Well, hello again. It's like Groundhog Day. We're gonna start all that all over again because our Wi-Fi kicked us off. We are paying our bill, by the way, but yes, our Wi-Fi kicked us off, so we just turned that off. We're going with cell phone data. That's what's happening now. Okay, so that was a good dry run. Let's start over. My name is Miss Elena. I'm here at the kids' table. We are making black bean breakfast burritos, which, as I mentioned earlier, if you were watching, I'm very excited about because I'm very hungry. I have not yet eaten today, and I've been up for quite a few hours at this point. So, very excited. Anastasia's pretty pumped too. So, let's go over what we need for the makings of our black bean breakfast burritos, okay? We are gonna use as our base.
Izzy says hi.
Hi, Izzy. I'm so glad you're cooking with us today. We are going to use as our base for our burritos. This is what's going to wrap up all of our delicious fillings, a whole wheat tortilla. Okay, so if you have white flour tortillas, that's totally fine. If you have little corn tortillas, you can make breakfast tacos. You can't really make burrito with those. But we love to go with whole wheat if we can because you get all the delicious, healthy nutrients from the whole grain of the wheat. Instead of with the white flour, they kind of strip away all the stuff that our bodies really need. So whole wheat tortillas if you have them. One of these days we'll do a class on making homemade tortillas because I love doing that at home. It's really fun. Okay, so whole wheat tortillas. And then what makes it a breakfast burrito is that we use, ta-da, eggs. So we're gonna basically make scrambled eggs to put in our breakfast burritos. So the recipe calls for 6 eggs, but I forgot that it was 6 and I only brought 4 because we didn't have any more eggs here, so I brought them from my house. But that's okay, I'm just gonna adapt the recipe to make it work for 4 eggs because the only thing that actually goes into our eggs to make the scrambled eggs is a little bit of milk, okay? I'm gonna use cow's milk, but if you have a non-dairy milk, that's totally fine. Just make sure it isn't flavored or sweetened, because we don't want our scrambled eggs to be sweet or taste like vanilla or anything like that. So a little bit of milk and then a little bit of salt. So that's all that goes into our eggs to scramble them, so I can easily adapt that to work with my 4 eggs. And then the other thing we need to cook our eggs is a little bit of butter. I have a pat of butter here, or you can use like a non-stick spray. We just want to keep the eggs from like caking on to the sides of our pan. So then we are gonna make our black beans to go with, because it is black bean breakfast burritos, right? So we're gonna make a delicious, flavorful black bean mixture to go in there as well. So I've got some black beans here that are drained and rinsed. These were canned. You can definitely make them from dry. You just have to remember to soak them, for at least 8 hours or so, and then they cook for another hour. So you need to kind of think ahead a little bit. But we used canned, drain and rinse so we don't get that black bean juice in our burritos. You need about a half a can. I actually have a little bit more here because I had about 3/4 of a can in the fridge. I figured, we'll just use them all. But you're looking for about 3/4 of a cup of drained and rinsed beans-ish. And then what's gonna make our beans really flavorful is some onion. So the recipe just says a small onion. This is a small yellow onion, small to medium maybe, on the smaller side. This is a medium-sized red onion. So we already had a red onion cut, so I decided to use red. You can use whatever color onion you have handy. Maybe you have a white onion. And then what I did is I cut it. I took the papery skin off, and I cut it into thin slices. We like to call them little rainbows. Okay, just like that, very thin. Because then we can finely chop it very easily from that steak if we're using our awesome little chopper. So we've got onions gonna go into our beans, and then we have some of this magical vegetable. It's it's in the same family as onion. It's like onion's cousin. This is garlic. So we took just one clove and peeled the skin off again, and then I cut it into slices, just like that, because we're gonna mince that. So good to start with slices. You can start with a whole clove if you want. Even with the chopper, it works okay. And then we need a little bit of oil to saute our onions and our garlic and cook our beans.
Letitia is wondering what we're making.
Oh, all right, Letitia, we're making black bean breakfast burritos for anyone who's just joining us now. Very, very delicious. Like I said, I'm super excited. And then also in our black beans, we are putting some cumin. That's a spice that we're putting in to add a lot of flavor. So that's made from ground up cumin seeds. So we have that right here. Definitely give that a little smell. It smells delicious. And salt and pepper, black pepper. So just a little bit, and we can pinch from there. Okay, so that's the base, the bulk of our burrito. We've got our tortilla, we're gonna make scrambled eggs, we're gonna make our black bean mixture, and then comes the fun of the toppings. So this is where you can really customize it based on what you have in the house, based on what you like. You can put out all the toppings, you'll see at the end, so everybody can build their own burrito. So each burrito can be different. So the filling ideas that we have listed on our recipe card, we've got shredded lettuce on there, diced tomato, diced avocado, grated cheese, salsa, and Greek yogurt. So what I decided to use based on what I like and what we have here is I definitely have some salsa and some Greek yogurt, which is very similar to sour cream. It just has a lot more nutrients than sour cream. Greek yogurt has a ton of protein in it, so we try to use it instead of sour cream whenever we can. And actually, the only two things that we've had to keep the sour cream for in our recipes are coffee cake and mushroom stroganoff. I believe those are the only two things that we've had to stick with sour cream. It just didn't work with Greek yogurt. But anyway, you can use whatever yogurt you have, just make sure it's plain yogurt, not sweetened and not flavored. Because again, you don't want any like vanilla flavoring in your black bean breakfast burrito. I don't think that'd be good. We also have some cheddar cheese, lots of cheddar. But you can use other kinds of cheese if you have it on hand, like Monterey Jack, Chihuahua. You could even use mozzarella if you want. Okay, I don't have any lettuce, which I'm okay with. I didn't really feel like having lettuce in my burrito anyway. And I don't have any tomato, which I'm also okay with because I think that tomatoes this time of year aren't that delicious. But I have something else red. It's a red pepper, red bell pepper. Check out what it looks like on the inside. So fun. So I just cut half of it off, as you can see. And then I took that and I cut the pepper into slices. So this way we can chop it into cubes very easily with our chopper. So we're gonna use red pepper. I've also got, this is one of my favorite ingredients, avocado. This is very dark, beautiful green on the outside, but it's even more beautiful on the inside. Nice, beautiful light green. Miss Anastasia did an amazing job picking out this avocado. Yeah, gorgeous. So what I did is I cut the half of avocado that we're gonna use into little wedges. I left the skin on because I figured we could just peel that off when we chop up the avocado. And then I also decided to add a topping on that's not listed in our list here because I love it and we had some, and that is scallion, or green onion, or spring onion. And we're gonna do something really fun with the root at the end. We're gonna try this again. I tried it once a few weeks ago and it didn't work. I'll tell you all about it while I'm cutting up the scallion. But I took a scallion and I just cut the greens into pieces, like a couple inches long. We're gonna snip these with scissors. And then the white part, which we're gonna use as well, I cut into pieces, but then I cut it again lengthwise because that'll make it easier to snip with the scissors, okay? So that's what I did to prep that. Okay, that covers, I think, all of our ingredients. So let's go over our tools and then we'll go get our hands washed and actually get started, okay? So I've got my cutting board right here and I have a chopper. We're gonna be using this for the onions and the garlic and all of our fillings except for the cheese and the scallions actually. For the cheese, we're gonna use a grater. So definitely have a grater handy. And then for the scallions, we're gonna use scissors. So you can use craft scissors too, just make sure they're clean. So give them a good wash. We have a whisk and a bowl for whisking our eggs up. We have a tablespoon for measuring our milk into our eggs. I also have a 1/4 teaspoon for measuring our salt into our eggs. Okay, then we have 2 pans. You could possibly get away with 1 if your eggs don't stick at all, but I just got 2 just in case. 1 kind of medium saute pan for the eggs and 1 smaller one for the black beans. And then we have a spatula for stirring. I feel like I can stir both with this. And we have tongs for flipping our tortillas, because I'm gonna warm our tortillas right on this burner here and hope our very strong portable burner doesn't get too hot and burn them, but we'll see. Also have 2 bowls and 2 spoons to put the eggs and the beans in, so people can then scoop them out. And then I have 2 pieces of foil as well, because we probably don't need both, but we're gonna be cooking one of our things first, because I only have 1 burner here. So we'll probably be cooking our eggs first. And then when they come off, I'm gonna put them in a bowl and cover them with foil just to keep them warm while we finish with our beans. All right, so I think that covers our ingredients and our tools. So let's go get our hands washed. I started with clean hands because I was touching everything, right? But let's just go ahead and wash our hands really, really well, and then we'll get started with cooking, okay? So I will meet you right back here in about 20 seconds. All right, everybody have nice clean hands? You guys ready to go? Maybe a thumbs up or a little heart. You guys are ready to get started? You have everything you need? Got a thumbs up, love it. Okay. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and start by prepping all of our toppings because they don't need to be warm, right? We're not cooking them. So that way, when our eggs and our beans are done, everything else will pretty much be ready to go. So let's go ahead and do our peppers first. I'm gonna do pepper. So if you're cutting up something else for your like tomato or something, you can go ahead and start with that. So when you do pepper, obviously, hold the chopper in the hand that you write with or color with, and then lay the pepper down. Same for tomato. Anything that has a thin skin on the outside, the skin can be a little hard for the chopper to get through. So it's easier if you put it so that the skin is on the side, and that way you're cutting through the meat of the pepper or the tomato at the same time as the skin. So hold the chopper, make a little claw, little bear claw with your other hand, because you're holding the food with your other hand. And then just press down, and if you need to wiggle back and forth, you can. And we're making little cubes, just like about that big. And so I would say as far as how much you need for each of the toppings, it kind of depends on obviously how many burritos you're making and also whether everybody's gonna want that particular topping. So I would say, you know, something like about that amount is probably enough per person, maybe a little bit more.
Daisy says hi.
Hi, Daisy.
I also lost Wi-Fi for a second there.
So glad you're cooking with us today, Daisy. Look at this beautiful pile of pepper I have. So is anybody using a different color pepper at home? These are sweet peppers, by the way. You could add spicy peppers if you're into that, like a little jalapeno or something. But we don't usually use spicy peppers at kids' table. I love them personally. I might need to put a little crushed red pepper on my burrito. Add a little heat. Look at that beautiful pile of peppers I have. Okay, I've got 3 more pieces. So anybody think about another color of pepper that we could be using? There's green peppers. I don't like to eat green peppers as much raw. They're not quite as sweet as red peppers. But orange peppers are nice and sweet. I like those. And yellow peppers, those are also sweet. There's purple peppers, which are very beautiful. But I also don't think they're quite as sweet as the red. I really like using red in this because you can see it adds some nice color to our array of toppings here. So I'm just gonna scoop this back onto the plate because I figure, you know, we can just build our burrito using all this plate of toppings.
Kimberly is using jalapenos.
Ooh, you are, Kimberly? That is amazing. Yeah, like I said, I kind of wish I had a jalapeno at home. I totally should have brought it. Oh well. Okay, so we have our pile of beautiful peppers here. I'm gonna do our scallions next. So I'm gonna switch tools and get out my scissors. So you guys probably know how to use scissors, but you know, thumb in one side. I guess you could I put my middle finger in the other side. Some people put their index finger and their middle finger, like 2 fingers, whatever's more comfortable. So snip, snip. And then we are gonna take our scallions and snip them into little rings. So, you know, pretty small. Doesn't have to be super thin, but pretty small. So I told you there was some magic that I wanted to talk to you about the scallions, and I tried to do this. I'm trying to remember what recipe it was for. Do you remember, Anastasia? Where I tried to sprout or make the scallion roots grow? It was a while ago. It was at least 2 weeks ago.
Did you do fried rice?
Yes, I think it was with the vegetable fried rice because we used a scallion. And so what you can do with scallions is, see, they have these roots. This is what grows in the ground, right? And then this part of the scallion grows up from the ground. So these are the roots that pull all the nutrients out of the soil to help the scallion grow. And what you can do is if you put the roots in water, so you cut it off here, and then you put the roots in water, and then a scallion will grow from it. And we've done this here before, and it's super cool. Apparently, it will only do it once. Like, you can't then cut the root again and try again. But I don't know that we tried. That's what we read. So anyway, I did this when we made vegetable fried rice, and I put it in water, and I put it in our front window, and then I forgot about it. And when I remembered at least a week later and I checked it, the water had all evaporated and the thing was totally dried out. So I neglected it and it didn't work. But I'm gonna try again because that's okay. You know, I just forgot, and I'm gonna try it one more time. So I'm gonna show you what I did as soon as I finish this one piece of scallion here. Okay. So I took a little ramekin of water and I cut off, as you can see, the root. Look at how big these roots are, huge, of scallion. Now, if you just plop it in the water, it kind of flips over. So I took you could take 2 toothpicks. I broke a skewer in half, a bamboo skewer, and just kind of, you know, stick it in the roots there so you can prop it up to stay upright in the water like this. Can you see? Maybe, kind of, yeah. So you just want it sitting upright, so the roots are in the water and the white part of the scallion is sitting upright, so that's where the greens are gonna start to grow from. So anyway, I'm gonna try not to forget about this and keep an eye on it and add water, put it in a place where it's getting some sun, and then we'll check back in a video next week to see what's happened. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Okay, anyway, super exciting. Back to snipping scallions. So, if you have scallions, you could always do, if you want, I like the bite of a little bit of raw onion in my burritos. Scallion is a milder flavor of onion. You could use chives. I actually have some chives in my garden. Or you could use a little red onion, very finely chopped. Just, you just sprinkle a little bit on top, and that will also give you that little bit of that fresh onion kick. All right, how's it going with your toppings? If you have something besides, I have avocado and cheese left. If you have anything else that you're using like lettuce, you can go ahead and tear that up with your fingers into little bite-sized pieces, or you could even snip it into ribbons with scissors. So feel free to do that. Okay, here we go. I've got a few pieces left. Always keep moving your fingers down, because you don't want your fingers to get too close to the blade of the scissors. Okay, these are small, so I'm going to cut them together. Perfect, and last piece.
Maria loves avocados.
Maria, I feel you. Avocados are one of my favorite. And you want to hear something crazy? I used to not like avocados at all. Until, I was an adult. I was definitely in my 20s before I discovered the joy that is avocado. So now I could eat an avocado every day easily. I love them in salads. I love guacamole. I love them in black bean breakfast burritos. I love them on breakfast sandwiches or on a hummus wrap. Oh, I can't even imagine a way I wouldn't like. I would just eat it. Have you ever eaten an avocado right out of the peel with a little bit of salt? So good. Okay, so speaking of avocado, let's go ahead and cut. Let's go ahead and cut up our avocado. So we're done with our scissors. Put them over there. What you need to do, if you did what I did, which is cut avocado into wedges and left the skin on, you just need to grab the end of the peel. This avocado could be it's beautiful. No offense, Anastasia. She got the best one they had. But it's slightly underripe, so the skin is a little harder to peel off, but it's still coming off. Just takes a little more work. Whoa. So we're gonna peel our avocado skin off. Uh-oh. It's not coming off very easily. This last little bit. That's okay. It's coming off in pieces. Okay, I got it. So we're gonna peel all of our skin off our avocado wedges. Let's see if this one will go a little bit better. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's the very end that breaks. It's so weird. Okay, we've got 2 wedges ready to go, and 3. Oh. So you don't want to do your avocado too far in advance, because if the avocado sits out for too long, it'll start to get brown. I'm gonna put our garbage behind here. Whoops, drop some on the floor. Okay. Oh, look at that. This one. Oh, it almost came off completely. Now, avocado is so easy to cut. You can use a chopper. If you don't have a chopper at home, you can even cut the avocado with a butter knife easily, no problem. So, hold the wedge with one hand, make your little claw, protect your fingertips, and you just slice down. So we're again just going with little cubes like that. So much easier to cut than the pepper. And if you notice, I love this. Avocados are just so pretty. The bottom of the avocado where the skin was is like a darker green, and then it gets lighter as you go up into the avocado. So fun. Okay. Whoops. I turned my chopper around. It's easier if you're using the chopper for the long end of the chopper to be facing away from you, and the shorter end here is towards you. It's much easier to cut that way. So I'm pretty excited. After we do our last filling ingredient, the cheese, I think we should taste our filling. So take a little break from our working to taste some stuff. All right. Look at that beautiful pile of avocado. I'm just gonna scrape it, use my chopper to scrape it back onto my topping plate. Okay? And now, we still need our chopper, so I'm just gonna put this to the side because we need to use it to finally chop our onion and mince our garlic in a moment. But next we're gonna do our cheese. So like I mentioned, I'm using cheddar. But other cheeses that were great are like Chihuahua. That's Anastasia's favorite. You've probably heard her say it before. She loves Chihuahua cheese. I like it too, but I think I prefer cheddar. Monterey Jack would be really good. Mozzarella could even work. So you could probably use like a Colby Jack. There's lots of options. So I have 2 pretty big blocks of cheese. I honestly don't know that I'm gonna need them all. Do you want a lot of cheese, Anastasia? She does. Okay, she's nodding yes. So maybe I'll grate it all just in case. So you're gonna hold the cheese in the hand you write with and the grater in your other hand. If you're using a little grater like we are, you gotta make sure you know which side the blade is on. If you're using a box grater, the blade, you can only grate from one side, the outside of the box grater. So it's a little easier. Here, you just gotta make sure the blades are kind of facing up. And then you press the end of the grater into the cutting board so that you can press the cheese into the grater firmly with your other hand. And then hold it at a little bit of an angle. We like to say it's kind of like a slide, right? It's angled like a slide, and then you take the cheese and press it into the grater and down. So again, it's like the cheese is going for a ride down the slide. And then you see it makes the little grates. So if you are using a box grater, just be really careful because those it has a lot of blades on it, and it's very easy for part of your hand, like your thumb knuckle or something, to hit the blades instead of just the cheese. And I've done that before. It hurts a lot. So be very, very careful. So you're gonna grate the cheese as far down as you can without putting your fingers at risk. So obviously keep moving your fingers up the piece of cheese as you go, and you can move the pile out of the way. If it starts to get too big, it gets in the way. And don't eat the cheese you're grating, by the way, okay? Because when we get to the end, when the cheese gets too small to grate safely, we can eat that piece of cheese. So I can keep going a little bit. And you can just keep turning it if you need to get a good grip on it. Well, it's getting small, but I think I can go a little bit further. Oh my gosh, look at all that cheese. I do not think that Miss Anastasia and I are gonna need. Oh, she's looking at me like keep going. That's what she's doing. All right, so this is about as small as I think I can get it safely without hurting my fingers. So as much as I want to eat this right now, I'm going to put it to the side because when we taste our fillings, our toppings, we can eat that. All right, so I'm going to start on my second piece. How are you guys doing? I bet, I mean, I can't see you, okay, but I am pretty sure that you guys are all great graters. Anastasia just shook her head at me. Yeah, she can't even look at me. I know, that was a bad one. I can't resist though. I can't resist. So press into the grater and down. Going up with this grater, some graters have blades on both sides so that you can go up and down and it will grate the cheese. This only has blades facing up, so it only works when you're pressing the cheese down the grater. I have too much cheese on my cutting board.
Kim loves this.
Thanks, Kim. I'm so happy you guys are watching. I love doing this too. It's like the highlight of my Saturday. I have to say, it's a beautiful day out there, isn't it? At least here in Chicago. The sun is shining, clear blue skies. I love it. I'm gonna get some of my cheese off my cutting board because it was starting to get in the way. And then I'm gonna finish grating the rest of my cheese. Look at this huge pile of cheese I have. Okay. Back at it. Into the grater and down. Perfect. Look at that. I'm pretty excited to taste this cheese. What kind of cheese are you guys using at home? I would love to know if you guys want to write it in.
Kim just wrote cheese with a bunch of cheese emojis.
All different kinds of cheese? That would be fun.
Kim is actually using Colby Jack.
Colby Jack, I measured that one. That was so good. Nice. If anybody else wants to share what kind of cheese they're using, we'd love to know. Inquiring minds want to know. All right. So I have all my cheese done. I have another little piece of cheese, which I'm going to put here because Miss Anastasia is going to want it. Actually, I'll just give it to her right now. There you go, Miss Anastasia. Okay. So
Henley and Jack are using Monterey Jack.
Henley and Jack are using Monterey Jack. Great. Perfect. Do you guys have as big a pile of cheese as I do? It like dwarfs the other toppings. Okay. I'm going to try to get all my cheese off my board here if I can. Okay, at least get the little bits off to the side. Okay. So now I think it'd be fun to taste our toppings. So I'm gonna do the cheese last. I'm gonna start with what I chopped first. So I did the peppers first. I'm gonna try a piece of pepper. So remember, when we taste while we're still cooking, it's best if you don't touch your face or your mouth or your tongue or anything like that, your lips, because then you don't have to wash your hands. And perfect. So you can just kind of pop it in. The pepper's really nice, almost juicy, crisp, a little sweet, really like it. Pepper's another one of those things that I used to not like, believe it or not. I didn't like avocado, I didn't like peppers, but now I love almost everything. So that pepper was pretty tasty. I'm gonna try our scallion next. I'm gonna take a really small piece and I'm gonna take the green because it's a little milder than the white part. I almost touched my mouth, but I didn't. If you touch your mouth while you're tasting by mistake, you can just wash your hands. It's no big deal. You know what I should have done? I should have done the avocado and the scallion together. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna take a piece of avocado now, but I'm also gonna take a little piece of scallion and I'm gonna kind of marry them here. Oh, I just kind of set the scallion into the little crease in the avocado. I'm gonna try that.
Daisy's using vegan cheese.
Oh, vegan cheese. That's perfect. That's a great idea. Mmm. So good. Okay. So now I'm going to try my cheese, my cheddar. The little bit that I had left from grating. Mmm. Delicious. Mm-hmm. All right. Are you guys all ready with your toppings? Your topping plate, is it ready to go? Mine is definitely ready to go. I'm going to put it off to the side. And now we're going to get started on our, let's go ahead and cut. We want to get everything cut so that once we start cooking, we can just do the cooking so things don't get too cold. So we still have to finely chop some onion for our beans and then mince the garlic for our beans. So let's go ahead and do the onion first. So as I mentioned, I cut let's see if I can put it back together here. I cut a quarter of a red onion into little rainbows, very thin rainbows. So that's the best way to use the chopper to finely chop the onion. So I'm gonna do one rainbow at a time. Hold my chopper again, long way facing away from you. By the way, if you do want any of the tools that we use, you don't have them at home, we can definitely ship them to you. You can't order them on our website, but you can just send us an email and let us know. You can see the different tools. If you go onto our virtual classes page, you can see some of the different tools that we're selling, and you can just send us an email or give us a call and we can put it together and send it out to you. So you're gonna press into your onion, and you might need to saw a little bit. Sometimes the very outer layer of the onion can be a little hard to get through. So you can just, saw back and forth. So we want pretty small pieces. You can see how tiny. So finely chopped. So the pieces are like maybe 1/8 of an inch, maybe even a little smaller. Oh, that was definitely a little, I had to saw through that one. Okay, perfect. Let's start on my second onion rainbow. The next one, I'm gonna try stacking 2 onion rainbows on top of each other. I think it'll work. Something just made a noise. I don't know what it was. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 rainbows this time. Put them right on top of each other. Let's see. Oh, no problem. Wow. It's almost easier somehow than just cutting one. Oh, that chop was a little harder. Oh, you know what? I have 2 little thin pieces on the outside that are kind of hard to cut through, so I'm just gonna get rid of those. I'm making a pile of all my food garbage back here, but what's best when you're cooking at home is to have a garbage bowl. So I have a garbage pile that's right on the table, but if you have a bowl that you can put your scraps in, it makes it a lot easier to keep a clean work surface. Oh, you know what? Look at this, there's bowls right behind me. I'm gonna set a good example and use my garbage bowl right here. Okay, I've got 3 rainbows left. Here we go. Pressing down, a little saw. I've got my bear claw, my fingertips nice and tucked in. Oh, there's another one of those pesky pieces that are hard to get through. Let's just get rid of that. Oh, there's another one. Okay. Perfect. If you end up with like a piece or 2 that are like that, it's okay. As long as most of them are pretty small. Okay, last one. I'm down to my last one. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this piece off because I think it's gonna be hard to get through. And here we go. Finely chopping the onion. Oh, that piece is hard too. So is that piece. That slice of onion had a lot of difficult to get through pieces in it. All right, so I have a nice pile of finely chopped onion. I'm gonna scrape it right back onto my plate. Okay, and then I've got little onion bits stuck to my chopper, so I'm gonna wipe down the blade of my chopper, never up, okay, to get the onion bits off. Because if you wipe up, then the blade could cut your finger. The chopper blade isn't really sharp enough typically to do really any damage, but you know, when you're working with a chef knife, you just want to be in the habit of wiping down the blade always. So we have our onion, and now remember we have our garlic. So I already said, as I mentioned, I cut it into little slices. Now I'm going to take all this garlic and mince it. So first we'll cut it into cubes just like we did with the onion. So first we finely chop it, then we'll go over and over it again. I think my chopper that I'm using is a little dull. We'll see how it does with the mincing. Otherwise I might go get another one. We've been using these choppers for a very long time. Okay. So now I have, as you can see, my garlic is like finely chopped, but we want it even smaller.
Kim is using ground garlic, is that okay?
Oh, like dried garlic? Yeah, you can do it. It doesn't have as fresh of a flavor as the fresh garlic will, but if you use powdered garlic, it will still add a little bit of that garlic flavor. So if that's what you got, I say work with what you got. But definitely don't add, how much do you think we would add? I wouldn't go too heavy because anytime anything is dried, because the moisture is sucked out of it, the volume is substantially reduced. So if you figure we've got about a heaping teaspoon of garlic, yeah, I would say definitely no more than a quarter teaspoon. You can always taste your beans and add a little bit more after if you want a little bit more garlic pop. So I'm gonna go over these now with my little bunny hop chops to mince them because we want really small pieces. So you keep your other hand out of the way, or you can put both hands on the chopper like this. I like to use it with one hand, but you just don't want your other hand to get in the way. And then you just scrape it all into the middle and go over and over your garlic with your little bunny hop chops. Oops, we're getting a little cheese in there. That's okay. Yeah, so I have cheese on my board. Both Anastasia and I are gonna be having cheese in our burrito, and neither one of us is allergic, so it's okay. But if you have someone in your family, you know, who has an allergy or something, you definitely would want to get that, you know, maybe switch cutting boards actually is what you would want to do, and switch choppers, or you can do the cheese at the end, right, after you've done everything else. But here it doesn't matter to us so much. So little bunny hop chops over and over till our garlic is nice and small. Keep scraping it back into the middle of your board. Over and over again. And again, I'm wiping the garlic off the blade going down. Oh, it's almost there. I'm gonna do just a few more. Chop, chop, chop. Oh, it's very tiny, it's perfect. Okay, I'm gonna show you what this looks like. Oh, the garlic is so sticky. I can't get it all off my chopper. Okay, and then you can smell your fingers. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so we are done with our grater and our chopper and our scissors. So I'm gonna leave the garlic, actually, maybe I'll move it. I'll move it to our bowl here. So now, guys, believe it or not, we are ready to start cooking. Our onions and our garlic. I think we should let's go ahead and do our eggs, and we'll do our beans at the end. Well, actually, the last thing we'll do is warm up our tortillas. But we'll do our eggs first, then our beans, then warm our tortillas. So we still have quite a few things to do. So I don't need my cutting board anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and move that so I have a little more space. Okay. And I've got my bowl and my whisk for whipping my eggs. And I have my eggs. So we get to crack eggs, which is very fun. I am going to, you want some sort of bowl or something to put your eggshells in. I'm gonna use the egg carton and just leave the eggshells in here, and then we can just compost the whole thing. So I don't know if you guys compost at all. We use an amazing service called Healthy Soil Compost, and they come in and take the compost and take it to a facility where it can be composted. So really great thing to do if you live in the city. 1 egg at a time, okay? You can move your whisk out of the way. You're gonna wanna hold the egg firmly in your hand and expose one side of it, and then it's like gently but firmly hit it on a flat surface, okay? Till it cracks. Whoa, that was a little too firm because I got a little egg on my table. That's okay, we'll wipe it up. So I have a crack, and then I take the tips of my thumbs and gently press in, because if you just smash it in, you'll end up with a lot of shell in your bowl. It's okay if you get shell in. We'll take anything that falls in out at the end. Let all the egg come out, and then you can put your eggshell wherever you're putting your garbage. So I'm gonna put it right here in my egg carton. And I'm gonna go again. So I hit it a little too hard last time. I'm gonna go a little bit lighter this time. Ooh, that's an interesting crack. It cracked up here at the top. Let's see if I can do this without getting any shell in my bowl. Oh, there's a little piece of something in my bowl. I'll fish it out at the end. Actually, I guess I can just do it right now. Whoa. Okay, very goopy. Egg is very goopy. Okay, I'm gonna reach in with my shell, use it as a little scoop. I don't even think that's shell, actually. Oh, slippery little sucker. All right, got it. Okay, third egg, here we go. Firm tap, and tips of the thumbs into the crack gently, like opening a door, open it up. Here we go, and shells in the garbage bowl. Or in my case, the egg carton. Here we go, last one. Maybe I'll do the one-handed crack this time. Let's see. Oh, I did it! No shell, yay! That was exciting. But look at that. Isn't that funny? That's how my egg cracked open. I somehow got it all out. No shell, here it is. Okay, so now I am gonna get my eggshells off the table, and I'm gonna go wash my hands because I have raw egg all over my hands. I'm also gonna wipe up the raw egg that I got on my table. So you guys can do the same thing, and we'll be right back here in about 30 seconds. wipe up my egg here. I've got a little cleaning spray. I'm gonna spray the towel so that I don't get spray all over all the ingredients we have on the table. Okay. All right. So perfect. We've got our eggs in here. We need to add a little bit of milk and a little bit of salt. Oh, I had 4 eggs, but if you guys are making a whole recipe, you'd be using 6 eggs. Because remember I said at the beginning I made a mistake and I thought it was 4 and I only brought 4 from my house. So I'm only making 4. So for 6 eggs, it calls for 1/4 cup of milk, which is 4 tablespoons, or you can use a 1/4 cup measure. Since I'm only using 4 eggs, I'm gonna use like a little over 2.5 tablespoons of milk. Yeah, that's right. It doesn't, this doesn't have to be exact, right? So somewhere between 2 and 3 tablespoons of milk is what I'm gonna use. So we've got our milk in a little squeeze bottle because I didn't want to bring a whole gallon of milk out here, but I'm gonna just fill this up all the way to the top. Whoop. 1 and 2 and 2 3/4. We'll go with that. So if you guys are using 6 eggs, you're gonna use 4 tablespoons of milk or a 1/4 cup. Those are the same. All right, and now we need some salt. Here we go. It calls for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt for 6 eggs. I'm gonna just do a little bit less. Sprinkle that in. And it doesn't say to put pepper in the eggs, but I like pepper, and I think Anastasia does too. So I'm just gonna add a little pinch of black pepper. Use my pinching fingers here, reach in, get a nice little pinch, sprinkle, sprinkle. Okay, now we need to whisk it up. So we have our whisk, we have our bowl with our eggs and our milk, salt and pepper. Hold the whisk in my right, I'm right-handed in my right hand. Whatever hand you write with, hold the bowl firmly in the other hand, and then you're gonna whisk. So a nice little circular motion or zigzag. You can whisk in a zigzag. Very important to hold the bowl because otherwise the bowl spins around. Make sure all of your yolks are getting broken up. And we're basically trying to whip a little air into our eggs because that's gonna help make our eggs nice and fluffy. I probably should have used a bigger bowl because then I could whisk a little bit more enthusiastically, but I don't want to spill my egg all over the place. Next time I'll use a bigger bowl. All right, definitely all my yolks are broken up. I'm gonna go just another minute, I think, to get a little more air in there. All right. So we are ready to cook our eggs. Okay, whew. That was kind of tiring. Shake out my arm there. Now I'm gonna use my bigger pan for the eggs and my smaller pan for the black beans. So this is the pan I'm gonna use for the eggs. And I have my burner right here. I'm gonna turn it on to medium. Is that what the recipe says? Yeah, it does say medium. I'm gonna turn the heat to medium. And then once it starts to get a little bit warm, I'm gonna add my little pat of butter. So if you don't want to use butter, you can use oil or a non-stick spray. But if you use oil, just make sure you only put a little bit, because as the oil heats up, it gets a little bit more liquidy, and you just want to grease the pan, basically. You don't want like a big pool of oil in your eggs. That wouldn't be very delicious. So I've got a little pat of butter. I'm gonna put that right in there, and it's gonna start to melt. And as soon as it's melted, I'm gonna swirl it around to coat the pan, and then we'll add our egg mixture. By the way, this is what my whisked eggs look like. It looks so good. I don't wanna spill them all over the table. I hope you can see. Okay, the butter is melting nicely, but it's not fully melted. I'm gonna give it another few seconds, then we'll add our eggs. And you can always check your pan. You never wanna touch your pan because it's hot. You could burn yourself. But if you put your hand over the pan, as long as you don't have anything boiling or steaming in there, because steam will burn your hand too. But you can feel the heat coming off it. You can feel it getting nice and hot. Because we want to put the eggs in when the pan is preheated instead of when it's still cold. So I'm swirling the pan around to coat the sides a little bit too with butter. I have a little excess butter in here, so I'm just going to put it back on the plate. I don't want to have too much fat in there or too much grease. I'm not worried about the fat itself, but I just don't want our eggs to be too greasy. All right, so I have a very nicely buttered pan and it's nice and warm. So I'm going to go ahead and pour our eggs in here. And then I don't like to stir my eggs right away. I like to wait till the edges near the pan are setting. So just the edges, so they start to turn kind of like a very pale yellow. Right now our eggs are very yellow from the yolks. And as it cooks, they're gonna turn not quite white, but like a much paler yellow. So you can tell when they're getting cooked through. So I'm gonna let our eggs just sit for a moment and then we'll stir them. So I've got a spatula here for stirring, and it's nice because you can really scrape the sides of the pan. Just make sure your spatula is made for high heat. Otherwise it'll start to melt in there. Nobody wants any plastic or anything in their eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our ingredients ready for our next thing, which is our black beans. So we've got our beans and our finely chopped onion and our minced garlic. I've got some cumin here and a little black pepper and a little salt. Yeah, okay. Ooh, I just checked our eggs. They're starting to turn this pale yellow. One side still needs to turn a little bit, so I'm gonna give it another, about 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna give it a stir with my spatula. Okay, I think it's ready. So I'm just gonna use the spatula to basically move the egg away, the cooked egg away from the sides of the pan, so that the raw egg can fill in underneath and around the cooked egg. Okay, oh, it looks so good. And then I'm gonna let it sit for another, it's gonna start to go pretty fast now, maybe another 30 seconds, and I'm gonna stir it again. And we want our eggs to be, I don't like my eggs too dried out, but you definitely wanna make sure they're cooked through. Because as you guys know, raw egg is not good to eat. It can make you sick. All right, so now that a lot of it is cooked, I'm gonna stir more frequently because there's not a lot of raw egg left in our pan. So I'm just gonna keep moving it around. And breaking up any big clumps. And then they're done once they don't look too wet anymore. So you don't want them dried out, but you don't want them too shiny, right? You want that raw egg shine to kind of go away. All right, I think our eggs are done. I'm gonna turn off my burner and I'm gonna get out a bowl to put the eggs in. So this is what my eggs look like. See, not too shiny, but not dry. So I'm gonna just carefully, very carefully transfer my eggs to my bowl. Whoops, got a little bit out. Okay, and then we are gonna put our pan to the side. We're gonna get out our other pan for the black beans. You can see why I chose to use two pans because I've got a little egg stuck to my pan. So I don't want that to cook my beans in that. I mean, you could, you know, but. So I'm gonna put my pan to the side and I'm gonna get a piece of foil to cover my eggs so that they don't get cold. Okay, you could also use a plate If you had another plate like this, you could flip it over the eggs. That's kind of a nice way to not waste foil, but I brought foil. Okay, so put a little foil on that. And we have our spoon for later. Put that off to the side. There we go. Now we're gonna do our beans. So I'm gonna get my other smaller pan and my oil. So we need just a little bit of oil. It says, the recipe says a teaspoon. So just enough to very lightly coat the bottom of the pan. We're gonna do medium heat again for the beans. So just a little drizzle of oil. Let that heat up. It won't take long to heat up because the burner was already nice and warm. And then we're gonna saute our onions first for just a few minutes because they're pretty small pieces. So just until they start to get soft, they'll smell really good. They start browning just a little bit. And then we'll add our garlic because the garlic is so small that it will burn if we add it too soon. So we don't want burned garlic. We just want it just a little bit sauteed. Okay, so that already feels pretty hot. I'm gonna use my same spatula. It has a tiny bit of egg on it, but I'm not too worried. I'm gonna take the onion. Oh, I hear that sizzle of the raw onion hitting the hot oil. Okay? And you're gonna want to stir it pretty frequently. Make sure make sure your pan handle isn't hot. Mine has a little silicone cover on it, so it's safe to hold. And then you're just gonna use your spatula to stir it now and again, frequently I would say, as it sautés. You can let it sit for maybe about a minute and then we'll stir it again. So we've got our garlic and our salt and our pepper. We can go ahead and put our seasonings into our garlic if we want, because we're gonna add that all at the same time into our onions. So we need a 1/4 teaspoon of the ground cumin. Make sure to smell it. It smells so good. You can measure that, make sure to level it off so it's a nice flat 1/4 teaspoon. And add that right in there. And then we're just doing a few pinches of salt. So use your pinching fingers. One, that was a pretty big pinch. I'm just gonna do two. And a pinch or two of pepper. 1, 2. Oh, time to stir our onion. Oh, it's already starting to get a little bit brown. I think we're almost ready to add our garlic and our seasoning. My heat might be on a little bit too high. Okay. So I can see my onion doing something in the pan. Every once in a while, the little pieces of onion jump. Okay, so that's actually why this is called sautéing. Okay, because the word sauté in French means jump. So we're cooking it in a little oil, and the heat and the grease are making the little pieces of onion jump around in the pan a little bit. It's pretty cool, right? Okay, I think my onion looks really good. It smells good. It's looking a little bit translucent, which means you're starting to be able to not see through the onion pieces, but you can tell that they're getting cooked through a little bit. And they're nice and very lightly browned. Now I'm gonna add my garlic and spices. Add that right in here and just stir this around for just 30 seconds maybe, and then we'll add our beans. And at that point, we don't need to cook our beans. Our beans are already cooked. So we just need to heat it up. All right, so I just, a piece of garlic just sauteed out of my pan. Okay, now I'm gonna add the beans. And I'm gonna stir this around and just cook it for about a minute, maybe 2, to get those beans nice and heated up. Oh, it smells so good in here. Does it smell good in your kitchen? I am so excited to eat this. All right, so we'll give this maybe another minute. And I've got, oh, my pile of dishes back there is getting big. I've got another bowl for serving our beans. And I've got a foil, which I'm gonna get right now. We may not need the foil, but we're heating up our tortillas still, so I'm gonna cover the beans just in case. All right, I think my beans look heated through. So I'm gonna turn off my burner and very carefully, you definitely need adult help for this part, I would think, unless you're older. Scrape my beans into my bowl. And I'll show you what they look like. Oh my goodness. So that is what our black beans look like. They're so good. They smell so good. I'm gonna put my pan over here. We're gonna cover this up. And the last thing we're gonna do is warm our tortillas. So you can stack your tortillas and wet them just a little bit. Like you could wet your hand and put it on your tortilla. My tortillas, I shouldn't have had them sitting out this long. They're kind of dry. That's okay. And heat them in the microwave. You can stack them. You know, like I said, just wet your hand, wet the tortillas just a little bit, put them in the microwave for 15, 20 seconds. That can totally work. I'm gonna heat mine on the burner. I really hope my flame doesn't get too hot. And I'm gonna just turn it as low as I can. And then I'm gonna use tongs to flip it over. I'm just gonna put it right on there and just warm it up. We're gonna flip it over. After a few seconds. Miss Anastasia, do you wanna get yourself a plate? Yeah, she's really excited for burritos too. So we just use the tongs, flip it over. So we're just trying to get it nice and warm. Otherwise, sometimes, look at that. Looks nice. You got a little bit of a browned, toasty mark on there. Doing my second one, and then we get to build. We've worked so hard. We have absolutely earned our black bean breakfast burrito breakfast. Okay, second one's almost ready. And I know you guys it might take you a little longer to heat up all your tortillas if you're doing them on the burners, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to build your burrito. All right, oh, perfect. So my tortilla went from hard and dry to soft and flexible. Okay, so now you can uncover all of the amazing toppings that you have. Fillings, I should say. So we've got our beans and our eggs, and then our plate of toppings that we prepped. I guess I can use a spoon for this. And then I also have, remember, the salsa here and some Greek yogurt. So I'm gonna go ahead and build mine, and Miss Anastasia can build her own too, because I don't know what she wants on it, right? So everybody can build their own. So I'm gonna take some eggs. Now the trick with burrito, I always overfill mine, okay? Almost always. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Because everything looks so good, I'm like, I can fit more in, but you wanna try to not go too crazy because you won't be able to close it. And stuff will start to fall out. It's okay, you can then eat the stuff that's fallen out, but. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little egg down the middle there. Now I'm gonna take my black beans and sprinkle this delicious mixture on top. Just one more. That looks good. Oops, I lost a bean. And now I'm gonna do my toppings. So I'm gonna use my hands for the cheese. You could use little tongs or something too. If you have clean hands, it's okay to use your hands. I'm gonna sprinkle a little cheese. If I put that right on the beans, it'll start to melt a little bit, which I kind of like that idea. I'm gonna do just a little bit of cheese. And I'm gonna do all my veggies. I'm really excited. I'm gonna do a little bit of pepper. That looks good. Look at how beautiful that is. And now I'm gonna use a spoon for the avocado since it's a little more wet. Put a little, little avocado on there. Here we go. Okay, and then the scallions, I'm gonna use my fingers to sprinkle them on top. I don't think I'm gonna be able to close my burrito. I think I did it again. I think I overfilled it. I told you guys, every time that's what I do. But that's okay, it'll be more like a really big taco. We'll see. And I'm gonna finish mine off with a little bit of salsa and Greek yogurt. So just spoon a little bit on top there. Make sure to save some for Miss Anastasia. Okay, I don't want too much Greek yogurt. We'll just see if I can do a little dollop. I'll dollop it around. It's very thick. Greek yogurt is much thicker than regular yogurt. Oh, dollop. It's really not coming off. Dollop. Oh, there we go. That's good. Okay, so now if you've overfilled it too much, you may just have to eat it like a big taco. But I'm gonna try to kind of press one end, fold one end of it up, okay? And then I can fold the other ends over the middle. Okay, so as long as I hold on to it, there. I have my little burrito. There's no way I could have closed the top, okay? So I've got a one-ended, open one-end burrito, but it's very pretty. Okay, I'm gonna take a bite. Oops. That is delicious. Worth every moment of effort, worth the wait. I hope your burritos are delicious. I hope you enjoy this meal with your family. And I hope you get to get outside for like a walk or something today. It's so beautiful here. We've got classes again all week next week. On Monday, I am making, what am I making on Monday?
Salad kebabs with ranch.
Oh my gosh. Monday morning at 11, I'm making salad kebabs with ranch dressing. Very excited about that. So hope you can join us for that. Homemade ranch, delicious. If you enjoy class and want to contribute to help support us while we are closed now, there is a link to donate through PayPal. So we'd love it if you can do that. And please share these classes with anyone that you think might be interested in cooking with us. And as always, you can find the videos from past classes on our virtual classes page. Don't forget that for our Friday class this week, which is Build Your Own Calzones at 4, we're still doing meal prep kits. So you can get all the ingredients and curbside pick it up here in Wicker Park on Friday. So check that out. And we just did our first private virtual cooking party yesterday. We made cheese ravioli with tomato basil sauce with a group of people, and it was awesome. So if anybody's interested in booking a private class just for you and your friends or family, you can find the info on our website. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful weekend.